is legend. If you've looked at the market today, I think you would notice that it is a big red day today. Everything was down. A few things were up, but most everything was down. Everything that we had open stop orders on got hit, and the other stocks that we're in dropped. So I made a lot of purchases, and we did get stopped out of the other ones. So let's go ahead and check out where we're at and see where we stand. So NFLX, this one here, we had our stop set at 817.54. It came down. I'll zoom in here so it's a little easier to see. It came down and it just did touch that 817.54. Dropped down below it just ever so slightly, just enough to trigger my stop, kicked me out, and we'll see at what that slip was and what I actually earned off of that one. Still quite excited over this one. You hate to get stopped out when it just barely touches it and then takes back up, but that's part of the game. It's just putting in that safety and playing it safe. LLY, right along with everything else, went down, so I purchased 2 shares of this one at an average of $749.95. So they did have their X date today. Their dividend per share is $1.30. So I will earn $1.30 on the number of shares that I owned before today. So I purchased 2 today, so I will not get that $1.30 on those 2 that I purchased today because you have to buy before X date. But I will get $1.30 for each of the shares that I did own. So that's just a little bit to help out, but it did have a big red day, so I did make a purchase. KO. On KO, again, down, so I purchased 8 shares. As you can see, when I say down, obviously the RSI2 did cross below the 10, so I made my purchase of 8 shares at 61.69 average. VOO. Well, VOO opened up under our stop. And of course, what that means is once the market opens, if it is at or under your stop, it will trigger it and become a market order, and it will go to market and it will sell at whatever that price is at that moment. In this case, we got kicked out just slightly above our stop, and we'll see what that is once we get over to the sheet. But we did get kicked out of VOO. But I will say this, because it did drop and it did go below that RSI2, I'm back in again. So we got kicked out in profit on our shares previously, but it did drop back down, so I ended up purchasing more shares. So I did get kicked out of VOO, but I'm back in already. ABBV, everything being down, this one is down too, down below the RSI2. I bought 4 more shares at 164.87. AVGO, down below the RSI2 again. So I purchased 4 more shares at 164.79. Do want to point out the fact that this white line and this yellow line that you see here, this candle is hitting that bottom of the Bollinger Band. That's a good chance, not guaranteed, but a good chance that it could bounce off of that and want to move back to the middle. The stocks like to range in the middle of the Bollinger Band or stay within that range of the Bollinger Band. So when it's at the bottom, it's going to want to come back up, but that doesn't mean that it can't keep on going down. So I'm hoping for this one here. I've got high hopes that this one here is going to go back up and get back up closer to that mid-range of about 174 maybe, or 170-ish, and we'll see how that one plays out. TSM. Now TSM's the only one that I didn't actually purchase today. It did not drop below the 10 on the RSI2. It may give us a chance next week, but it did not get there today. So it is at the bottom of that Bollinger Band, like I said before, so we'll see if it breaks down further or will it turn around and go back up to that mid on the Bollinger Band. So we'll see how that one plays out. So let's go ahead and slide over to the stock tracker sheet and see where we're at. Okay, so here we are on the YouTube stock tracker sheet. NFLX, we had 2 shares at $6.90. We did get stopped out. We had our stop set at $8.17.54. It did slip just ever so slightly and kicked us out, and we got paid at $8.17.47. For those 2 shares, we ended up profiting a total of $254.88 off of 2 shares. It's one of those moments where you're wishing that you would have had more than 2 shares, but that's pretty good. That's almost 18.5% on the amount of money that I had invested into it. So very excited about that one. Very happy about that play. Maybe Netflix will come on down to below that RSI2 and pick us up again. Don't know, but I'm very pleased with that play. LLY, with our 2 shares that we purchased at that $749.95, it took us through 13 total shares, an average of $830.22, and the current price is $746.20. So we're down 10% to the current price with no stop. KO, we have a total of 72 shares after I just bought 8 shares of $61.69. That took me to an average of $63.70. Current price is $61.74, and we are 3% down from the current price with no stop. VOO, this is the one we got kicked out on. We had 2 shares at $524.91. We had a stop at $544.26. This is the one that did open on the lower side under our stop, and it ended up getting us at $542.13. So with that and the 2 shares, that gave us a total of $34.39, which is just over 3% on our investment. So that's still very good. I hate when it does open down below it. Not much you can do. I could have turned the stop off, but had I done that, the market and VOO just kept on dropping. So if I would have turned it off thinking I don't want to sell it under my stop, I want it to come back up, it would have kept going down, and that would have made this a bad play. So it's always good to, when you set your stop, to stick to it and don't change it just because of what the market is showing. Just like in Netflix, in that one, if we'd have turned it off, we would have actually still been in it. And VOO, had we turned it off, we would still be in it, but the price would be much lower now, because that price is actually now at $538.50. So we sold at $542.13. So as you can see, we would actually still be above our average cost into it, but we would have lost an extra $4 of movement there. So always stick to the plan, always stick to what you have, and it's too easy to want to change your mind. ABBV, we got 24 shares at $170.75. Current price is $164.99. That puts us about 3% down. No stop. AVGO, we did buy 4 shares at $164.79. Took us to 12 shares. A total average cost of $169.57 with the current price of $164.84. So we're down almost 3%. TSM, we did not purchase any more shares of this one, so we still have our 4 shares at $187.25 with an average of $186.01. So for this one, we're pretty much about a break even. VOO, we have 4 shares because we just got back in. I got them at an average of $540.20. We are just ever so slightly down, so this one here is about 0.3% down, so I consider that's pretty much of our break even right now. So we are back in VOO right after getting kicked out. So I think with all of that, we add up our profits here. This takes us to our new total gain of $621.19. I am just excited about that. That's a lot for just 1 month. So with all that said, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.